Hi, I'm Kendall Anderson. I was involved in floats called Sky's the Limit, Steps to Peace, and Which Was First, Chicken or the Egg. It was a natural fit for me to get involved in Rose float production because I've always enjoyed design and construction throughout my life, which continues to this day.
Do you remember how you got involved in the program? Did someone tell you about float? Did someone bring you into it, or did you just stumble across it one day?
I was aware that Cal Poly built floats for the parade because my family had always gone to the Rose Parade floats, and I admired the work that Cal Poly had been doing.
And you went to school on the Voorhees campus, correct?
Yeah.
How was that?
I went to school on the much smaller campus called Voorhees. There was probably 100 to 200 students there at the time, but it was a beautiful campus, but not very large.
And you guys also built all your floats on the Voorhees campus, correct?
Yes.
Could you describe the lab for us? Can you describe the lab, the area you built them?
Yes. We built all the floats in those days on the Voorhees campus at an area to the south of the main administration building where they did maintenance work on farm machinery, welding, and other mechanical activities.
Since there was 3 campuses at the time, and the Voorhees campus is where they built the float, how was Pomona's and San Luis Obispo's involvement at the time?
At that time, the Pomona campus did not have any students on board. San Luis was not involved in the float production or design.
They just sent money at the time to help you guys out?
San Luis sent us money to help out on the expenses of construction.
Okay. What can you tell us about your experience on the Sky's the Limit, being your first float?
I really did enjoy my involvement with Sky's the Limit float because it allowed me to do the things that I had always enjoyed doing throughout my life.
And did you go to the parade and watch the floats after you built them?
I have witnessed the parade innumerable times, all the way from a very early age, and even in fact this year we attended the parade again.
And that was for the 2017 parade, correct? That you just attended?
Yes. What was the number again? 67?
This was our 69th float this year.
Okay.
Did you ever encounter any obstacles or roadblocks throughout all those years you worked on the float, such as something breaking down or something going wrong that you had to come up with a creative solution to fix?
We never had any obstructions, and I've got to say that our faculty advisor, Mr. Henry House, was a real godsend to all of the committees that worked on the float.
You mentioned Henry House. Would you like to tell us anything else about him?
Henry House was a beloved figure at Cal Poly, both at the Voorhees and the Pomona campuses. He was treasured by all students that I was in contact with.
Okay, and you were the chairman for 56, is that correct?
I was the chairman for the float committee in 1956.
And that was Steps to Peace?
That was Steps to Peace.
Do you remember how that concept got started? Or because it was after World War II, right? And you're building it from League of Nations going up to the United Nations.
The float theme was based on the parade theme, and the thinking behind the float theme was that there had been a failure of the League of Nations, and that led after the Second World War to the United Nations.
Would you like to, and you said in a previous interview that your sister was the model for the cherubs, correct? Faith, hope, and unity.
That is correct.
Would you like, would you like to talk about that process? How you
My-
created those?
My 4-year-old sister was a model for the cherubs. We made a mold of her body, and she was such a patient child. I cannot imagine, even to this day, how she was so patient in that process of building the form.
So she stayed still in a certain position while you guys made a mold around her, then eventually poured in foam or something?
Yes. We made a mold around her while she stood still, and after the mold was set, we poured foam plastic in to create the cherub.
So how long did it take to approximately build the floats in your days? Nowadays it's a full year process. Was it only during fall quarter or was it also year round?
The construction of the float started right after the fall quarter started, and we pursued that up through the 1st of January of the following year.
And you said the construction did that include the design process, like submitting to tournament your concepts that you want to do that year?
We would submit our design to the Rose Parade Committee earlier in the year, before the completion of the first semester in June.
Recently we did an interview with Chuck Jennings. He said you got him into float. Would you like to talk about that?
Chuck Jennings was a good friend of mine at school, and he was involved in the construction, actually, of the Steps to Peace, but he assumed a more significant role in the year following, in which was first, the Agori.
And Chuck said you started out that year, but you left to pursue a degree in engineering, correct?
I left Cal Poly in the fall, right around the end of that semester, to pursue a mechanical engineering degree that I received from University of Southern California.
I just have one last question for you. What advice would you give to current and future rose floaters?
My advice to the current and future rose floaters is to enjoy every minute. It is a wonderful, wonderful experience.
Thank you.